Welcome to the Laughspin.com podcast.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Dylan Godino, founder and editor of Laughspin.com. Welcome to another special edition of the Laughspin Podcast. It's a special edition because it's interview time, ladies and gentlemen. Usually every week, the Laughspin Podcast prides itself in giving you a listener's digest of sorts of comedy news and the coolest and the most recent audio clips for your ear holes. But this week we are going to continue in our series of audio interviews that I conducted at Gilda's LaughFest in Grand Rapids in March. This week, we are talking to comedian and actress Mary Lynn Rajskub, who you probably know as Chloe from the incredibly popular, now off-the-air series 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. You may or may not know that she's also an established stand-up comedian, and that's where I found her in Grand Rapids doing some comedy. I had a great, if not somewhat odd chat with Mary Lynn. I say it's odd because I never met her before, and I didn't know what to expect really. And then what happened right at the onset is that I just kind of unloaded on her, not in a bad way. Holy shit. I just said that, and now I'm thinking you guys are thinking that I started yelling at her or something. Not at all. I started getting, for some reason, very personal very quickly. And so that kind of makes for an interesting first few minutes of this interview. But I really enjoyed. I enjoyed my time talking to Mary Lynn, and I appreciate her taking the time to chat with me. That's about all I want to say. We talk about her comedy. We talk about the fact that she's a mom and how she sort of deals with that, going on the road and being an actress and all that good stuff. But that's about all I want to say as far as exposition goes. So check it out and let me know what you think. What's going on with you, Mary Lynn?
Dylan, who I felt like I met before, but I have not.
I don't think we have.
No,
I think I definitely would have remembered if I met you.
Okay, God.
You know?
What are you trying to say? You just looked really familiar to me. You just have an easygoing manner about you.
See, that's really interesting that you say that. A lot of people say that. What people don't know is that I have anxiety attacks many times a day.
Many times a day?
Well, I mean, many anxiety attacks.
What's going on?
I mean, nothing. That's just who I am.
Why are you so super calm on the outside?
I don't know. What about me makes me seem super calm?
I guess you look very non-reactive.
Interesting.
Have you always had anxiety attacks? Have they gotten worse or better? Or?
I feel like they've gotten a little bit worse as I've gotten older. There's more episodes during the day when when I say anxiety attack, I don't know, maybe they're not anxiety attacks, but they are suddenly you get this overwhelming sense of what am I doing? Why am I here? I have nothing to offer. This has quickly turned into wow. And we just met. Mm-hmm. By the way, we are in Grand Rapids at LaughFest. Gilda's LaughFest. I'm talking to Mary Lynn Rajskub.
Do you think the people on the third floor in the St. Patrick's Day celebration have something to offer? They're drunken joy.
Yeah, they see that's the difference. See, they
don't have that anxiety.
They don't, but
or the drinking helps them not have that anxiety.
That's true. The drinking helps them. I mean, the difference between them and me, who will likely remain sober all day today, is I feel like I have self-awareness, whereas people who are always drunk are just, I think, always just trying to limit the amount of information they know about themselves.
What do you know about yourself that feeds into your anxiety? Shouldn't it be the more you are self-aware, the less anxiety you have?
No.
Oh,
No
you
way.
are so funny. You're like, let them not be self-aware and not have anxiety. The more self-aware I become, the more anxiety.
I think the more self-aware you are, the more you're constantly thinking and rethinking everything you do, and that drives you crazy. No? I'm wrong about this?
I see where you're coming from, for sure. Because there is, of course, drinking or anything that distracts you is going to
Right.
keep you from having to look at stuff,
Yeah.
I guess.
Of course it will. You think I'm so weird.
I think you're so weird.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I think you're very intriguing.
Well,
Just different than weird.
okay. Well, I'm glad I appear calm. I also, my appearance maybe also, it looks like I probably smoke pot, and I don't.
Because you have
I don't know.
very
I have
curly,
stupid hair.
almost dreadlocks.
Yeah.
They are dreadlocks?
I guess they are. I don't know. I didn't mean it for it to happen.
So you don't smoke pot and you don't drink?
No, I mean I drink occasionally, but not as a matter of.
And you're a father?
I am a father, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about. I'm a father. I have a 4-year-old, and I have a 1.5-year-old. And you yourself.
Nice going. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Same to you.
Thank you.
Your child is let's see,
A boy.
4 and a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! So we have
Greatest guy ever.
Greatest guy ever. What's his name?
Val.
Val.
Yeah.
How in God's name? It's so intense for my wife and I just having 2 kids, and we have fairly normal lives. But you're an actress. You're a comedian. You're on the road. You're in Grand Rapids now. How in God's name does that work?
It's pretty heavy, dude. It's pretty heavy. I mean, I would say in general, I have a pretty nice lifestyle as far as having a kid because, I'm not working constantly, so I have a lot of downtime. But I do have to carve out time for myself and to work. The hardest thing for sure is the traveling and coming to places like this.
Yeah.
Like I missed his Wii ball, which is when you're too young to be in T-ball, which
Right.
is the greatest thing ever. I missed that today, and that's not cool
Yeah.
for me at all. Because we just signed him up for that, and then I had already committed to this, but I was like, oh, I can't travel on Saturdays anymore because this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. But I don't know how you do it with 2. That's a whole other.
2 is intense. 2 is not doubly as hard as 1. It's like 4 times as
Oh,
hard.
God.
And probably obviously my wife is much better dealing with being a mom than I am.
Well, what's your deal? You're kind of a entrepreneurial self-starter
Yeah.
type of a person.
Sure. Yeah. That's
How do you do that, man?
It's hard. It's my wife is extremely strong, both physically and and mentally. She's very understanding. So when I am sitting on the couch, not interacting with anybody, and instead writing a story about, I don't know, Will Ferrell's new movie, she's very understanding of that.
What's the new movie? Wonderstone?
Dude, I don't know.
The Magician one? Is that Will Ferrell?
No, that's
someone else.
That's Steve Carell.
Oh, right.
And someone, Steve Buscemi.
That's right.
Apparently it's not doing very well at the box office.
I auditioned for the girl part in that, the assistant.
The Olivia Wilde part?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember. It was a long time ago that I read the script.
Yeah. You didn't get it, huh?
No, and it's like, I mean, who wouldn't want to work with those guys?
Yeah.
But I'm also just even looking at the billboard. I'm like, I'm happy that I'm not in that.
Yeah. Would have been a nice paycheck, probably.
Would have been great paycheck. Would have been nice, amazing to work with those guys. But at the same time,
See, you seem very at peace and very easygoing. And now you're laughing. Why?
I mean, I'm probably more at peace than I have ever been.
Yeah.
I think being a parent and getting older does that.
Yeah.
Those two things force you to be at peace.
So you wouldn't be at peace?
If I was 25 and childless?
Well, no, if you were however old you are and childless.
No, I probably would be. I just find that, the cliche of having a child and the child putting perspective on your life of what's important is something that I wouldn't have necessarily come to on my own.
Right.
I was talking to Julian about that because he's about to have a baby. And
I didn't know that.
Yes. I know. I didn't know that either. He's keeping kind of a low profile on it. Well, I just started talking to him. It's nice about the LaughFest. You get to catch up with people.
Yeah, it's a comedy
chat
camp.
with people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's once you have a kid, I'm sure, as you know, everything else that you worried about is kind of stupid. You're like, oh, those were my worries before I was responsible for a human life. Those seem silly.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other hand, the pressure is on to kind of support this so that, you are worried about everyday things. But I just found for myself whatever concerns I had about, my career or family stuff or just relationships with people. It's like dumb,
Yeah.
that time and energy I spent with the things that I spent worrying about.
Right. Do you then find you put less pressure on yourself when it comes to auditioning or trying to get jobs? Or
I mean, the pressure is still there.
Yeah.
Of course. It's just the importance is not as heavy. It's not the be-all, end-all that I foolishly thought it was. It's just part of life, I think, is what it is, because you make room for this other aspect of life that you weren't aware of before.
Right. Yeah. That's healthy.
Right? That sounds super healthy.
It's pretty healthy. You're a very hard person to read.
I am?
I feel like you are.
I like it.
I feel like you are. What are you drinking?
Beet juice.
Beet juice.
Or it's some other stuff. It's kind of thick. It took me the whole walk back to drink that little thing. It was an extra. She goes, do you want some extra smoothie? And this was what she called a smoothie. But it's very healthy. I feel very healthy when I drink it.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I should start drinking some of that.
You really should. That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
What?
That's what I wanted to talk to you about today.
About eating healthier? Oh my God, you're going to start...
Is that true?
No. No, I eat pretty okay.
I am concerned about your anxiety attacks, though. How can we get rid of those?
I don't know.
Do you sleep well? Don't tell me you have insomnia on top of it.
No. I sleep pretty well.
Okay.
Can you eat the mic more?
Yes.
Thank you. I sleep okay. It's ever since I had children, I sleep perfectly. I sleep perfectly fine.
Do you like having kids?
I like it and I don't like it. It's it's either the best thing ever or the most intense thing ever. Either I want to hug and kiss my children nonstop for hours on end, or I want to just run out of the house screaming. There's no middle ground. There's no middle ground. No middle ground. Like when I get home from Grand Rapids, I will be all about them. It's going to be great. A few hours later, the big one is going to do something so incredibly shitty that there's no middle ground. Not yet, anyway.
Is it a girl and a boy?
2 boys.
Oh, 2 boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're nuts. They're fucking crazy, which is great. I want active kids. I want them to be, sure of themselves and confident, and you know, even the little guy, even the 1.5-year-old is
a little too confident.
Is kicking ass. Yeah, he's a little too confident. Yeah, I do like having kids.
Do you ever look at them and go, do you guys ever think about what is the point, and do you have any worth, just to like give them some of your anxiety? Do you want to know what's in my head? I think about that for a while.
I haven't. I'm going to wait until the 4-year-old gets a little bit older.
5 or 6.
5 or 6, I think.
Nice.
I think is fine. Yeah. So that's I'm just an anxious person. I grew up in a household where there was always a lot of I mean, my parents are still together. It wasn't like an abusive, you know, household or anything like that. I got along with my parents well. I still do. But lots of fighting and yelling, and we're Italian. I don't know. Is that an excuse? Italians yell and fight a lot?
I think it is.
I mean, I
feel like there was a bunch of tension in my household. Not a lot of yelling. A lot of hard door shutting. Not even slamming. Just a lot of stifled gesturing and cold stares.
See, that's interesting. That would have been nice.
See, I feel like the yelling would have been nice. I would have enjoyed some yelling. Just tell me what's going on, somebody.
Yeah, I mean, that is, you know, again, going back to self-awareness. I mean, you can't, I mean, in my house growing up, you knew exactly what was on, you know, everybody's mind, because there was no, you know, nobody really hid what they were feeling. You would yell at somebody and there would be a big fight.
How many brothers and sisters?
Just one. I have one brother who's 18 months older than I am.
Nice.
He's more of a closed book. He's more doesn't really share his feelings as readily as I do, which is obvious since I met you like 2 hours ago and I'm spilling my guts to you.
I like it.
Yeah, this chick that I've seen on TV a million times and never met. Yeah, I'm just spilling my guts to her.
Do you look forward to the anxiety attacks? Is that a rude question?
I don't think so. Do I?
Are they weirdly comforting?
I don't think so.
It's just terrible.
I don't think they're comforting.
Just a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
What else do you want to talk about?
This is an interesting interview we're having.
I know, it's really low key.
Yeah.
I think it's because I'm probably gonna nap after this. So I'm using this as the tee up.
Great.
I don't know. It was that beet juice? It really took it out of me.
So this chat with me is your intro to sleepy time.
I just made that up. I think it was that beet juice. It was really
the beet juice is doing it.
It's really taking it out of me.
All right. Well, let's talk about let's
talk about it.
Let's talk about you, Mary Lynn.
Oh no! Don't change this. Don't turn the tables.
Don't turn the tables. Nobody who gives a shit. Nobody wants to hear about my
anxiety
thing. Who am I?
A guy who has multiple anxiety attacks per day and wonders what is the point and what is his worth. It's terrible.
They're fleeting. They're fleeting.
Okay.
So what are you up to? Are you crisscrossing the country doing stand-up? Or do you?
I don't know what to do, dude.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, tell me. Break it down.
I don't know what to do. I'm
okay.
doing more comedy than ever.
Okay.
You got to do comedy a lot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point? I have a kid. I don't like to leave my house at night.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of sets, but it's still, I could be doing more. And the next step would be touring a little bit.
Right.
Which I'm here, I'm doing it a little bit, but I don't like leaving. So what am I doing this for? What am I going to do?
I don't know. Bring the family with you? That's not going to work.
Probably not. It's a pain in the ass. But also, I don't have the capability to do that. I would have to build the audience and get the draw and have somebody to be able to pay to do that, you know?
Right.
I could probably do that sometimes, and I could build towards doing that.
Yeah.
If that were the goal.
Yeah. All right. So you're trying to.
Should that be my goal?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So you're so you're getting on stage more. You're doing more sets. You're traveling a little bit. Television, movies. What's anything in the down?
Girl, if I had a television show, I would not be doing so much stand up. No, I mean it's kind of a lucky, 24 has been off the air for quite a few years now, and I've had to retrain my mind to not feel like, oh, what's the next big thing? Because it's just a terrible feeling, into telling myself, oh, there might never be another thing again.
Right.
And so I like that I didn't get on another show and start working 14 hours a day, because I get to be with my family, and that also gave me the time to get back into stand-up, which was a challenge because I'm happy to go to bed at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Get up be on my kids' schedule.
Right.
So, like I just said, even just getting out of the house was a big adjustment, and then mentally deciding to do it. And then once I started doing more sets, it started to become really fun, and it reminded me of why I started doing it in the first place. So then I'm really thankful that I've had this opportunity to be getting back into it, and connect with an audience, because there's nothing better than being able to do that, to have that, reaction.
Yeah.
Can be really satisfying and creative and interesting, but
Right.
It's also a huge pain in the ass. But, it's been a really cool time. And I think necessary for me, but strange.
Yeah. It's I feel you about going to. I think going to bed is the greatest thing in the entire world.
It really is.
And leaving the house is. The other day it was raining a little bit, and I was outside because I had to do something outside, and it was 4:00 in the afternoon, and I told my wife, I'm like, I'm not leaving the house again. I don't give a shit what happens.
That's the best.
I don't.
When you know that at 4 p.m.
that's it.
It's the greatest.
That's it. I'm as helpful.
Put on my house pants at 4.
That's it.
That's it.
I said I'm not. I don't know if we need groceries. I don't know if we need to run errands, but I'm not.
It's not happening.
I'm not doing it. I'll stay home with the kids. I'm not leaving the house again. So I get it.
Yeah. There's something nice about traveling, because I do get to focus on, being here and hanging out, which I don't really do.
Right.
When I'm at home very much.
Yeah.
So that is nice to see other comedians and talk to them and do sets in a different city is really, really cool.
Yeah. What does your husband do?
He owns a small fitness studio in the Valley, Los Angeles. It's pretty cool.
That's super cool. Does he have is the little guy all into do you guys have him on a fitness regimen?
He's a bodybuilder. He's the best in his age group.
That's good.
He's there. We all go there as a family sometimes, on the weekend.
Yeah.
If my husband has to work. It's cute. We hang out there.
good. It's
he's 4. You have a 4-year-old boy.
I do.
He's like, oh yeah, my muscles, and he does his so-called push-ups.
Right.
His form is a disaster, as you can imagine.
Yeah. It's yeah. It's nuts. Life, man,
Life,
Fucking A. You're going to go back to LA and be like, I met this dude and he interviewed me and I have no idea what happened. You're going to talk to your comedian buddies.
Yeah, what is going to happen? This is your podcast.
And tell them, I have no idea. You're
going to put this on the internet.
Hell yeah.
Is this your podcast? Weekly?
Well, we do the Laughspin podcast is a weekly comedy. It's an extension of Laughspin.com where it's like a 30 to 45 minute comedy news roundup. So we don't have guests. It's me and a co-host, and we do news and we listen to clips. If somebody put out a new album, we'll listen to a track. So
you're really in the know about comedy.
Yes.
You should tell me what to do. Give me career advice.
Wow.
You should just be like, go get a part acting on a TV show. That's my advice.
Nothing Jerry Seinfeld did? Like he did a show and then that's what you should do.
Oh, okay. I should just get my own show.
You should do that. If I was a comedian, that's what I would do.
The best part is people constantly coming up to me and going, so what are you up to? And I'm like, this here, what I just did on stage for 30 minutes. So what are you up to? Are you doing anything? And I just wait. Like, is the 24 movie coming out? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not in charge of that.
Have there been talk of a 20? I'm so comedy focused. I have no idea what's going on.
People
in the
Twitter me
world.
about that almost daily. But then there was something recently that finally said it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a bummer because there's so many people that are diehard fans.
Well, here's what's going to happen.
And then there was somebody recently that Twittered, if we did a Kickstarter campaign, would we make...
It's exactly what I was just going to say.
Someone's going to just make it?
This is what's going to happen. There's going to be a Kickstarter, and I love Kickstarter, but I feel like Kickstarter has been abused. For instance, most recently... you may or may not have heard this, but Veronica Mars.
I saw people twittering about that,
yes.
But I didn't know what they were talking about.
So now there's going to be a Veronica Mars movie.
Wait, that's a Kickstarter thing?
Yes.
It is?
Yes. So Veronica Mars, I think it's a great show. Kristen Bell, love her. How can you not?
Did she start the Kickstarter?
No.
Okay, I don't understand what it's happening.
Somebody, I don't know who exactly.
And they're just calling it a Veronica Mars movie, but the people who made the show have nothing to do with it.
Oh, no, yes.
What?
Yes. They wanted to raise, I don't know, I honestly don't know who started it. But, I mean, they're on board. Kristen Bell's on board, and the guy that, Rob Thomas, I believe is his name, is on board. And here's my thing. A Veronica Mars movie would be great. They raised $2 or $3 million. They're going to do a very low budget film. I'm sure none of the actors are getting paid. They're just, trying to pay, I don't know, crew or whatever. Here's my thing. Kristen Bell and Rob Thomas most certainly have $2 million between the two of them laying around doing nothing. Just use your money. If you want to do a Veronica Mars movie, use your own money. Don't exploit your fans. I mean, these are Hollywood insiders that can certainly get funding or self-fund this project. And meanwhile,
I just don't know. I'm in a different, coming at it at a different angle.
Okay.
I just don't understand if it's not the creative team that's responsible. I mean, you mentioned that I don't know the whole story. I have to look into it, but that it's the actors signed. The whole thing seems very strange.
The creative team in some way is behind it. I don't know. I should have. I didn't know we were going to be talking about it. I would have done better research. But they're behind it.
Because I mean, to me, the reason why the 24 movie isn't happening is because the different, factions of it, entities and people that were in charge, did not come together and agree on something
Okay.
and able to get it done. The people who own it, the people who creatively own it. So that's why putting Kickstarter into the equation seems so strange.
Right,
Because
you're
it
right.
really, and I think that's what's more offensive than actors going into their bank accounts
Or not going into their bank accounts?
or not going into their bank accounts. But I mean, as an actor, you're already, well, maybe not in the case of her because she's the star of it, but even more so, it's very confusing to me because that is the most outlandish thing I've ever heard, and I apologize.
The Veronica Mars thing?
No, like if for someone to say a 24 Kickstarter movie to me,
Yeah,
it feels wrong on every level, and I don't mean to offend. I love that fans love stuff so much that they want to do it. I think that's amazing, and being on a show like 24 and experiencing those kind of fans is the best. But the idea of going through Kickstarter just is very wrong to me on all levels.
right. Well, and in 24's case, it wouldn't matter because it's not that the money's not there. It's that the creative forces just aren't making it happen, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right.
I'm,
so Kickstarter
I'm also very flattered that people would think that I would have anything to do with that or knowing what's going on, as if they would call me to get my opinion or know-how. And also a fan saying, let's just make it ourselves. What are you talking about? I mean, I have a thing in my stand-up where I tell people I'm not really a computer expert. I'm sorry to disappoint everybody.
Right.
Again, what a amazing thing for me to be in that and for people to associate me with this, with the show.
Right.
I didn't watch 24 before I was on it. I was acting.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be confident and say I did a pretty good job acting because I don't know anything about computers. No, I did very little research into computers. That's not interesting to me.
So we'll just have to wait for the 24 movie. Not happening.
Well, it's just not going to happen, guys.
Yeah. That's
I
okay.
wish it would. It would be great. I would love it.
Yeah. It would be nice.
And it's amazing to me that I was on it and am associated with even with that genre, and I love it. It's exciting, but it's so much. It was a job I was hired for, and
Right.
then immersed in that world.
Were you doing stand-up before acting, or did the acting come and then?
I was doing performance art, and people were laughing at me, and I didn't know why they were laughing. And then I was meeting comedians, and so I was doing live performances in LA in the alternative comedy scene in the 90s. So it wasn't ever really a club act, but I did a lot of comedy and a lot of stage time in these different rooms, sometimes in a character, but mostly as a stand-up, which is a certain character. It was more so back then, more of a conceptual. I was a lot more neurotic, so that kind of fueled my performance.
Did you just point to me when you said neurotic?
As you know.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
As you understand. And then I started getting auditions from performing in LA, and
So when you say performance art, what exactly are we talking?
Oh geez, I don't really remember. I had a podium that I made. It was a kind of, looking back on it, it was just physical comedy without the jokes written in, and I was saying comedy, but I wasn't writing the jokes. It was acting them out. I had a podium that kept falling apart, and as if I was giving a speech, and then the papers would get all messed up, and then the words wouldn't be in the right order.
Right.
And so all my performances were always performer audience based. You
Got
know,
it.
a lot of people that did performance art, it would be more sculptural or whatever.
Right.
So I just didn't know that I was doing comedy because I didn't ever see myself as having the ability to communicate in that way, because I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. So I never imagined that I would be the type of person who would say, here I am, and here's what I think about stuff in your face. You know, that was incredibly foreign to me. So
Right.
I somehow ended up doing it sort of through a back door of just exploring the performance aspect of it and finding that there were awkward moments and moments of laughter, and then slowly over time becoming somebody who was more comfortable with speaking words that maybe have meaning that other people could relate to.
Right. And so that kind of segued into you getting acting jobs. Because
Yes,
people
like
saw
one
you
of
on
my
stage.
first auditions was for a nervous secretary on a Meredith Baxter Burney pilot.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have a car. My manager drove me to the audition, and I was so literally nervous, but I used it in my performance because that was a tactic that I was used to in doing these stand-up things, where I would use the state I was in. You know, some of my early sets, I would just be saying, my name's Mary Lynn, and it was coming from a genuine social, I was nervous to not only, be at a party, let alone standing on stage. And so it'd be, say, what are you looking at? And it would get laughter.
Right.
Well, so you see how it's coming from like my behavior and my neurosis, but the writing is backwards. I wasn't consciously thinking, I'm going to write about a person who's nervous and they don't think they can say their own name. Like, it had to come from that feeling and that behavior first.
Right.
And then the writing of it could come after, I guess. But anyway, so I went to this audition and was so nervous, but I was able to kind of funnel it. And, they said, oh, well, you're going to producers. And I didn't know what that meant. And so they were doing it on the next floor at the same time, sessions, like doing more of a, cattle call thing. And so I went up there, and then I saw Meredith. I think I've told the story before on a podcast. I'm having a deja vu, but I was doing it the second time, and I looked up and I saw, the mom from Family Ties that I watched growing up, and I got even more nervous, and then I couldn't speak. And I saw on her face she felt bad for me. She just, in her eyes, she was like, oh no. And then I just like lost it and kind of like got paralyzed, and then like left the room.
So the audition never happened then?
I was in the middle of it, reading it, and then was like, all right, and it just stopped happening. And then I'm sure I awkwardly left. I probably made it halfway through the material.
Got it. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, so there was a time where, the performing was more therapy, and it was more this tightrope act of using my actual neuroses in that moment, which is kind of cool. Again, it's just a backwards way to learn about stand-up, because you have to be real in the moment to a certain extent. I guess it depends on what your style is. Some people do that more than others.
Right. And so then
which is interesting of different comedians. Some of them are naturally actors, and other ones could never be an actor because they're so themselves as stand-ups but there is an element to acting in stand-up because you have to recreate that moment. You're repeating your material, right?
Yeah. So for you to then, become Chloe in 24, I'd imagine you'd have to suppress basically every aspect of your personality. I mean, I know one of the cliche questions that like Hollywood reporters ask actors is, do you see yourself in your character? And I feel like there was probably very little of yourself in your character in 24.
I disagree.
Really?
I think that it has to be you.
Okay.
On a certain level. I mean, I kind of just try to put myself in the position of what would I be like if I were that type of person that had that type of job. So it still is my personality traits sort of filtered through me imagining, being smarter, more heady,
Right.
more the socially awkward thing is in common.
Yeah.
But that show is also, you're imagining the stakes of everything is so much higher because right out of the gate there's always a terrorist attack, so everything's on high alert. So then you're playing in this arena where how do you find like fluctuations in a situation that's already at like the world's about to end and someone's about to die, and so you're kind of finding in yourself what makes you panic, or what you, I didn't have a kid at that time, or
right.
What you feel responsible for, or what you feel your duty is, and you're drawing upon all of those emotional things. So that's why when I was joking around about not studying computers, I think that's really cool when actors do. I mean, I did minimal amount of research, but to me it's more about the emotional state of that person than the actual knowing a computer code, right? No one really wants to know that, but they do want to know how this person is feeling and behaving in that situation,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah. That makes sense. It makes sense. Well, this has been an interesting chat, Mary Lynn.
I know. What do you think?
I don't know.
Maybe someone will listen to this while they're laying down, or while they have their house pants on. Maybe someone will listen to this on a day when it's like 4 p.m. They don't want to leave the house.
Yeah. But I mean, you're not. Are you usually more? I mean, I feel like this is.
No, I feel very good.
Yeah, this is you. I mean,
this is totally me.
Yeah.
Because on that panel, that was so funny. Because like Julian and Andrew.
Andrew. Yep.
That was. I mean, Andrew he had a little miniature stand-up act going on, including a callback. I was like, I mean, I don't know him, but I was like, wow, it was awesome. He got everybody laughing. Yeah. This is very much me.
Yeah. So suck it.
Yeah. I was gonna say everybody, and then I stopped myself. Yeah, you suck it.
Yeah. Mary Lynn, it's thank you for talking to me, and it's
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
It's been nice.
LaughFest.
It's been nice chatting with you.
Thank you so much. You are a delight.
Oh, thank you.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening to another special edition of the Laughspin Podcast. Please, by all means, do subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher and SoundCloud, and check us out on allthingscomedy.com, which is the awesome podcast network we are part of. Thanks again, guys. We will see you soon.